Just stop oil. Why protesters are tying themselves to goalposts? I can tell you why right now. Is because they have no fucking jobs. Like, look at this, right? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason his body reminds me like one of the coffee drinking aliens from Men in Black in a wig. I don't know why, that's what it reminds me of. If you've been watching the football recently, I haven't, I don't care about football, you may have noticed that there have been some pretty weird stoppages. It has nothing to do with VAR or the actions of players. Protesters have been running onto the pitch and attempting to tie, handcuff, or glue themselves to the goalposts. It's so far happened during 4 matches with varying levels of success. Pardon. Pardon again. In the game between Everton and Newcastle on the 17th of March, the match had to be stopped while security attempted to remove 21-year-old Louis McKechnie, who was eventually cut free after using a pair of bolt cutters and was led from the ground to boos from the crowd by police. Merseyside police have confirmed he was arrested and charged with pitch encroachment and aggravated trespass. Who's responsible for these protests? The group that has claimed responsibility is called Just Stop Oil. Just stop oil. That's a weird one. Just stop. Just stop oil. What do you want? I don't know, man. Just like stop oil, bro. Just like wind. Just like blow on a wind farm or something, man. It makes like electricity and stuff, man. A lot of these people don't know how power works. They describe themselves as a coalition of groups, also known as a coalition, working together. A coalition of groups. Yeah. To demand the government stop the exploration, development, and production of fossil fuels like oil, gas, and coal in the UK. We must urgently end our reliance on fossil fuels and absolutely annihilate hundreds of thousands of jobs to avoid irreversible changes in the Earth's climate system, their website says. The group says it wants action both in the short and long term to reduce demand for fossil fuel energy, such as home insulation and renewable energy. These are the same fuckers that were blocking the road. These are the same fuckers that a woman was left permanently fucking paralysed because she was having a stroke and her son was driving her to the hospital and he didn't get her there in time. And basically, like, they blocked the road and that was them that did that. And then there's that little gimp there. If the tactics seem familiar, because like other groups such as Extinction Rebellion and Insulate Britain, Just Stop Oil claim to be willing to use non-violent civil resistance to make their point in public spaces. That includes things such as strikes. Yeah, good luck with that. None of you have jobs. Boycotts. None of you have money to pay for anything. Mass protests. Well, I would say everyone has a right to fucking protest, clearly, obviously, but I don't think protests work. I don't think protests work anymore. I genuinely don't. Disruption, however, if we have a little look at the trucker protests in Canada, basically, whatever forms of protest the government come right the fuck down on, hardest are the forms of protest that it's most scared of. I'm just saying. I just think that's some information you should all know. Some people have criticised those types of methods as being too extreme and creating too much disruption to people's lives. And yeah, like, blocking traffic, you're blocking emergency vehicles, you're blocking people going to fucking like it could be fucking doctor's appointments and shit like that. That is you then placing a person's life at risk. Like, that's, no. For me, no. After the protest during the Everton game, presenter Gary Lineker said in a tweet, "Whether you approve of this young man's methods or not, he's right. His future is perilous." Words of wisdom from the man, Gary Lineker, a man with a brain of many wrinkles who very often enjoys talking about, the immigration and welcoming people from other countries when he lives in a very, very posh, safe, gated community. Me? No, I just want to let them in. After that, they're the poor's problem. Fucking big-eared prick. In videos and messages posted online, those involved in the action have spoken about their involvement. Kai, 20, locked onto the goalpost at the Emirates Stadium during the Arsenal versus Liverpool match on the 16th of March. "I don't want food to run out for me or my loved ones when severe weather events mess up our food supply. There were other things that messed up the food supply, by the way. I'm just saying. It wasn't climate change. I don't want billions of people to be forced from their homes, he says. If we lose control of our climate, which is exactly where we're headed at the moment, then we put everything and everyone at risk. My generation won't have a future. Louis says it's 2022 and it's time to look up, time to step up and not stand by. It's time to act like it's an emergency, he adds. Now, the problem is, when it comes to things, like climate change and all that other stuff, see, when you do things like this that fuck with everyday regular people, that just turns everyday regular people against your cause. It makes them think that you're annoying, makes them think that you're obnoxious, all manners of other things. And if you actually want any type of change to happen, it is the everyday regular people that you need, because at the end of the day, we massively outnumber the government. I'm just saying. Sometimes I just say things, right? Sometimes people call it dog whistling. Okay? See, when it comes to the racism and all that type of stuff, and all the jokes that I make and stuff like that, none of that is dog whistling. None of it is. Some of my comments about the government might be dog whistling. Maybe some of them are. That's up to you to find out. Louis says it's 2022 and time to look up, time to step up and not stand by. I have read all of this. Sorry, that's what happens when I go on a tangent. Christie, who attempted to disrupt the Wolves versus Leeds game on Friday, said it's ordinary people who suffer most. He added, I trust the people and the people need to know how serious this is. Speaking before the Tottenham versus West Ham match this weekend, Nathan, 22, from Coventry said, right now millions around the world are reduced to fighting for their lives rather than watching football. We don't have to stand by and watch this happen. Ordinary people can say no, not in my name. What do you mean not in your name? None of that's been done in your name. Sport is not the only thing the group has been involved in disrupting, with protesters pictured at the BAFTA Awards, which, to be honest, disrupt that. Just Stop Oil have not yet responded to Newsbeat's request for further comment, as unfortunately Kai's mum's unplugged the internet. You can't check his emails. Okay, now one thing to make abundantly clear. Non-violent protest, yes, that's absolutely fine, as long as, public spaces exist and the public can use them. Yes, you absolutely have the right to protest, the right to speak your mind. Disrupting the procedures of a private business or a private company, nah, they can fucking remove you. They can remove you. That's one thing. They should be able to have the right to grab you and throw you the fuck out of there. So the football grounds kind of being owned by a private company and stuff like that, nah, they can throw you out. They can throw you out. It's a private company. They can do what it wants. I fucking love that argument, because the problem is I agree with it, but because of the way things are run now, even though that should be the case, things are very, very, very unfair when all private companies can't do what they want. If all of them could, and there was no regulation, then we wouldn't be having as many problems as we are now. But yeah, yes, these guys have a right to freedom of speech and all of these other glorious things. I mean, come on, look at that, man. I want to stuff him into a locker. That's it. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, even like that body, that hair, man. I could hit that for the back and still be straight. I wouldn't. Hell fucking no. But I'm just saying, if I was in jail and he get brought in for disrupting a football match, and I haven't even seen a woman in 2 years, I'm just saying,